And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Panzer Corp 2. We're at the gates of Moscow. This is the third part of the recording of this mission. We got 4 of 10 victory hexes taken. We're moving towards the rest. I think it is a good place to cycle a turn, and then we'll work on trying to chew our way into what's left of the outer garrison of Moscow. Okay, to get you to surrender, I just need you to do 1 damage. Promptly don't do 1 damage. Fair enough. Yeah, suppress that guy down. Yeah, I'm not sure actually I have enough weapons with a... Oh, the armored car would probably have enough penetration. Probably have enough penetration. No, not getting prediction for that being enough. I'll roll up and take a swing anyway. All I gotta do is do 1 damage and it'll surrender. It promptly refuses to take even 1 damage, I guess. Merge the two, and that gives enough penetration. Nope, the T-34 is refusing to die. It only has 1 return to fire, so we're going to deplete its last... Oh no, it's got to actually shoot to deplete the ammo. Okay. If I'm desperate, just get out of the way. I could get rid of it with the dive bomber. You know what? We'll do that. Ooh, didn't quite bring it down. Well, Broken Pioneer, to make crossing the river easier, we can kind of just brute force it slowly with vehicles. There's no enemy opposition, at least. Yeah, you're probably going to be suppressed enough next turn we can get you to surrender. Same with you. Cycling the turn. It's trying to get out. There we go. Actually, no. Let's not do that move. Get the tanks healing up. Okay, so we can do 3 damage. 2 to 3 damage. That should be enough to get you to surrender. And it was. Same there, 2 to 3 damage. Nah, no luck. Just gonna have to risk getting the AT shooting at us. Oh, then we're gonna suppress the AT. I go for the suppress the AT option. We can't go in that way for whatever reason. Okay. Here we go. Well, wait a turn. That cavalry is not a threat, an ongoing threat. So they're rested enough for it not to be one. Twitch chat saying, "Hey, Will, hope you're well and hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year's." Yeah, I had a reasonable Christmas and New Year's. Hope you had a good one as well. Okay, continuing the break-in option on these, or break-in path on the objectives. Okay. We do 1 damage, they'll surrender. 2 damage is going to be more than enough, so we're just going to get the unit completely destroyed. Just does the same effective job. Oh, that's the coverage on the A again. It's one of the bigger ones. That's the 85. So that's the Russian equivalent to the 88. That's fair enough. Okay, so we're gonna hit useful targets rating these guys up here. Okay, there's limitation to brute force here. Checking Twitch chat. Yep, thanks. You play the Total War games? I saw that Total War Three Kingdoms is free on Epic Store. Epic does not have a Mac version, so I might pass. Okay. Well, I hope you pick it up if you want to pick it up. I understand not picking it up if you don't have a Mac version. Of course, I think you can pick stuff up on the Epic Store even if you're not planning on installing and or planning on installing it right away. I'll have to check on the Epic Store. If it's still free, I might pick it up. It's been a while since I played Total War games, but yeah, that's the sort of game that I probably would play on the channel. I do have Total War Warhammer, for example, 1, 2, 3. Although I dread to think of what the loading times would be for an actual stream of it. Okay, let's get cycling the turn here in the game. Twitch chat is saying it's free to the 9th. Okay. So if you're probably watching this on YouTube, it's probably still free, because this is probably the part that's going up on the 8th. Yeah, I'll probably pop over onto Epic and see if it's back to free. Okay, we didn't lose anything, although we got some hits shoot up a bit. Let's cross the river there. Get you where I want. Exactly where I want? No. Can I get you to somewhere that'll work? Yes. Okay. Work up on the top before I get too carried away in the top. Okay, got that one surrendered. Smart you to get you over there. Yeah, that's more damage than we want to do, but that'll work. Got the artillery destroyed. Push you around to take location behind the fortifications. Should be enough to get these guys to surrender. Ooh, we need to hit 3 though. 2 is not enough. The tank's not gonna do it. Oh look, push the tank over there. That'll work. Okay. Push you there. 2 should now be enough if it actually hits the 2. No. Okay. Here we go. Although you're entrenched, so you're not quite ready to be forced into surrender. At this point, it does look like they're out of Air Force, so I could probably drop the blacks to AT mode. I suppose I should actually hit with the artillery so you're not entrenched. So the tanks can actually make you surrender. Of course, the tanks do need to do 1 damage to get you to surrender. There we go. Oh, that was a mistake. I just sent the card to destruction. Whoops. Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. Sometimes I get ahead of myself with the aggressiveness. Okay, I think it's possible because I'm going to do this return. Maybe an important thing to remember that I don't need to push into Moscow. I just need to take the gates, preferably, right? So we need Kalinin, Locust Mask, Mozavisk? I don't speak Russian. Some of these roll off the tongue, some of these do not. Yeah, we just need to take these objectives. I don't need to actually defeat everything within Moscow, and it's not practical, as you can see, to encircle the guys in the inner defenses to Moscow. So I should not try to. Okay, so we got you surrendered. Now there's a garrison here to lapse. Which may be easier than it sounds. You in AA or you're AT mode? You're in AA. Okay. There we go. Okay, one more objective to get surrendered. And really, I just need to bring the guns up to deal with it at this point, I think. So let's move the guns as much as I can to get them actually in firing range. Do that. Completely making them vulnerable? Yeah, that should work reasonably well. And the other ones down here were moved. I think that's fine then. Okay. Merge some of the units up back into the original shape. Make them a little bit less vulnerable to counterattack. Let me cycle the turn. Bomb you. Bomb you. Whoops, I need someone on that hex. Okay, I got turned in, and I just need someone to take the hex to claim victory. Anyway, we're not going to go pushing into the garrison defenses to Moscow. We'll take the early victory. I suppose I should have checked. Oh, I suppose I could check here. Yeah, so we're getting a 91% bonus for finishing 13 turns early on the 160 prestige per turn. So, probably worth finishing the 13 turns early. Instead of trying to farm prestige off of the guys who really can't encircle around Moscow. I think that's what it is. So we've succeeded the Gates of Moscow quest. Now it's presumably Moscow. Recorded 6 parts during the last stream, so because we've just recorded basically what is 3 parts, this is actually going to be the last part of the stream. Although we will hear the mission briefing for the next mission here.
The Russian winter is hitting our forces far harder than anyone expected. And our opportunity for a quick defeat of the Soviet Union diminishes by the hour. With the rain and the mud freezing into snow and ice, one final push to Moscow is going to be attempted. Hardly ideal conditions to start with, but I still have more bad news for you. Forward recon elements of 3rd Panzer Group have reported major Soviet reinforcements have arrived from the east. There's no doubt that these troops are already entrenching throughout the city. Therefore, your mission will need to be broken down into 3 distinct parts. First, you must push your troops through the defensive lines around Moscow. I recommend focusing on here or here. Secondly, critical government locations across Moscow will need to be secured decisively. I suggest you start with the Kremlin, here, and then go here and here. But the choice is yours. Finally, once the last of the city's defenders have been cleared out, you will need to hold the city against any potential waves of Soviet reinforcements. It now falls on you to carry out this most critical of operations. Good luck, Herr General.
So that is the briefing for the Moscow mission. So we got to push our troops through the defensive lines around Moscow. He's recommending various places, although maybe it isn't the best at indicating that on the map.
First, you must push your troops through the defensive lines around Moscow.
I recommend and there's critical government locations.
Here or here. Secondly, critical government locations across Moscow will need to be secured decisively. I suggest you start with the Kremlin here.
So we got an development leader. Prevents enemy units from retreating, so they surrender instead. Okay, that's actually somewhat useful. Specifically for this mission, where I'm going to have difficulty trying to actually encircle people. Yeah, in this mission, we got to push into the city. We can get an army in the south, a couple different places in the west. And that's about it. We got to push into Moscow. Obviously, the main objective is... Well, the main objective is to control the main objectives at the end. The bonus objective is to control the bonus objectives at the end. Sounds easy enough, in theory. The primary objectives are control the hard ordered hexes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, and 6 up there. So 6 total hexes. And we need to control all of them on turn 28, or turn 25. So it makes the mission somewhat difficult to do. Because unlike most of the missions where you can finish early, this is not a mission we can finish early on. Somehow the game thinks we can potentially finish early on. That's not how this mission works. The bonus objective is to control the bonus hexes, which I believe are the ones with the dashed outlines. If you're wanting to do the alt history path in the main campaign of Panzer Corps 2, you need to complete the bonus objectives on this map. And whatever the map is at the end of... Is it? Yeah, so I think it's this map in Stalingrad. Or whatever this map's equivalent is in your path. So central path, it's you hit Moscow first and then Stalingrad second. I think south it might be Stalingrad first, then Moscow second. But either way, you do Moscow and you do Stalingrad. And you got to do the bonus objectives to do the alt history path where Germany wins the war. We're gonna presumably try to do the alt history path the first time and win the proverbial war instead of doing a bunch of defense missions down the defeat path, let's say. Although this is one of the missions that makes doing alt history a little bit hard, because not only do we have to hold all these primary hexes, which is what you need to do to win the mission, we need to break in and we need to hold the extra hexes. And the enemy reinforcements are rolling in primarily from this direction, though a little bit from this direction. So the more forward directions are going to be obviously the harder places to hold. This one's a little bit easy. Kalimina down here is a little bit easier because you got to hide behind the, or you can hide behind the river. Whereas the rest of it is going to basically be in front of the river, and you're going to have to hold the outskirts of the city on the far side. We're going to do the choosing of what units we bring in next time. We'll take a look, see if there are any new units. So no new infantry, that makes sense. I think the next new infantry we get is 43, which would probably be... Is it post Stalingrad? Or it might be 42. Might be the next season. So post Moscow at least. So no upgrades to the infantry. In the tank category, no new tanks. Although we do have a bunch of capture tanks from the previous mission, so if we wanted to, we could bring in things like KV2s and KV1s. Repurpose some of the old Russian tanks to bring them in. Which wouldn't necessarily be the worst of ideas. They got some really heavy armor on them. 20 native armor. Versus what we're running, which is 16s, I think. 16, 15, yeah, so it'd be better armor. No new reconnaissance. No new anti-tank. Not necessarily expecting anything new here. No new AA. We are getting a new artillery piece. So we have the SIG 33 II, which is an artillery support, self-rolled gun with suppressing fire, and it's an entrenchment killer. Granted, all the artillery are entrenchment killers to some degree. 2x entrenchment killer. It is self-propelled, so depending upon what you want to do... Also, it's armored, so depending on what you want to do, that might work quite well. Although I debate why you would... Although this one actually have 2 range. This one probably... Yeah, this one has 2 range. So, it's basically a better Stug, because it actually has 2 range on it. So that's the new vehicle. Oh, we also have some Katyushas. I want to bring some Katyushas in. Aircraft, no new aircraft. I think our aircraft, we've taken the time to upgrade them to the new version. But we do have new bombers. We got the BF 110Fs, Messerschmitts, which are actually anti-air. They're not technically fighters, but they can fight decently in air, unlike the Junkers, which have an air attack, so if they get attacked, they can defend themselves, but these guys actually have a proper attack, so they can do anti-air fighting. Otherwise, just a little bit worse. Probably wouldn't run them over the Junkers, and we have the upgrade to the Junker, with more anti-infantry, more anti-tank, and a little bit better anti-air defense. And no new strategic bombers. Okay, so that's all the new vehicles. Got a new set of bombers, and we got one new self-propelled gun, although we're probably not going to grab the self-propelled gun. So those will be the new toys in theory we could be playing with the next mission. This is mostly going to be a city fight, at least for the initial stages of the attack. We'll probably use a little bit of tanks down south, but it's mostly going to be infantry because we're going to be mostly just pushing into the city. Infantry, artillery. I'm going to be tempted to bring the recon in into the city just for the reconnaissance, but mostly infantry in here. So we're probably going to actually bench a lot of the tanks because I don't think we need all the tanks. Yeah, probably bench most of the tanks. I think our hero is back. Yeah, I know Retaliation hero is back. So we'll put you back there. And we now have well, the distraction one is back as well. We had that on one of our tanks previously. We now have the new envelopment one. Other than putting that one back on the Pioneer. Ooh, I know I wanted it on the Pioneer for this mission. No retaliation basically means if I have to do a frontal attack, it gets to attack first and not get shot back at. And if you're city fighting with the Pioneers, that works pretty well in the city. But yeah, we'll probably bench a couple of the tanks, because I don't think we need 5 tanks for this mission, and probably replace them with more infantry, maybe even just more Pioneers. I want a little bit of Broken Pioneer, probably a little bit of Broken Pioneer down south to help the tanks getting around the rivers in the bottom. So the tanks are basically going to roll up around this guy, clear that objective, roll out and try to get around here, try to delay the incoming attacks while the infantry roll forward. I might try to take this with Fallschirmjäger. Might take the Fallschirmjäger off from over here and fly them over. Oh, and we can actually, whoops. We can actually deploy the Fallschirmjäger pre-launched on the plane. And yeah, that's probably going to be the quickest way to take Kimmery over here. Is just paradropping Kimmery. So Kimmery, the tanks will roll up here, and then the area in here on these 3 main places is probably going to be the artillery and reconnaissance and the Pioneers all just sort of swarming the city, trying to push their way through the outer defense of the city next time. A little bit of a short stream. Recorded actually 6 parts last time when we were intending to record 5, so we're actually a day ahead. Which is why we're dropping from a normal 4-part stream to a 3-part stream. I was going to record, if we did at the gates in 2 parts, and it took more than 2 parts to do Moscow, then we would have probably recorded more. But my intent is to try to complete a map every night, or at least complete the maps we start every time we do a stream. And then I wanted to record 3 parts tonight, minimum. So we've hit 3 parts. This is where we're going to put the part break in. And bring it to an end. If you're watching on Twitch, let's bring up the stream schedule for the next couple days. This is roughly what would have been recorded in the past if you're watching this on YouTube. But today we're playing Panzer Corps 2 on the 2nd. Tomorrow will be Victoria 3. We're going to continue that India run. Sunday is going to be Shadow Empire on the 4th. On Monday, which I believe is the release day for Terra Invicta, we're going to be doing Terra Invicta. I think we're going to be continuing the run, assuming we have access to a version that save will load into. It should technically load into one of the available patches on release day. The main thing that's changing on release day is that the release candidates turn into 1.0, point whatever the version is. So I think the experimental patch will be the patch we'll be playing on, so it'll be the beta for basically the bug fixes for 1.0. It may actually be release. I'm not entirely sure on that, whether they're going to release 1.06 or something like that. Don't know what the stable version is going to be on the 5th. But we're going to be playing on the 5th, and I assume it'll probably be the continuation of the game we're playing, because it should port into the release version. And then that makes Tuesday when we're going to continue Panzer Corps on the 6th. So once again, Victoria 3 tomorrow, Shadow Empire the day after that, Terran Victor the day after that, and the day after that will be Panzer Corps 2. So I hope you've all enjoyed. If you're watching on Twitch and you want to get comments responded to, now's probably a good time to leave them as I do the outro and save the game. I'll do a quick double check to make sure I'm not missing any after I bring the stream down. And one of the Twitch channels did bring up that Total War 3 Kingdoms is supposedly on sale on Epic. And by on sale, I mean it's for free on Epic. So if you pick up games off of Epic, that's a thing you can do. I'll probably pop over there and pick it up because I don't actually have 3 Kingdoms. Although, I don't know when or if that'll fit into the schedule or not. But yeah. So, until next time, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next one, and bye for now.